Peace, Israel. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. What this video is going to be about is going to be pretty much a continuation of the video Yah's house, or God's house and God's temple, to show the children of Israel that they are indeed in error. Now keep in mind that these videos are first to the house of Israel and to all those people who are of the nations that seek after the laws, statutes, judgments of the Most High, and will take a hold of his law, his covenant. So this is not strictly something that Israel can benefit from. It is first and foremost to the house of Israel, but this is also for those of the nations who are of a contrite spirit that will take a hold of this law and do it. Now, continuing on God's house, Yah's temple, continuing on that video, which was a pretty long video, let's go straight to Isaiah. We will deal with Isaiah chapter 2. And I'll read the entire chapter because this chapter becomes very important to show the house of Israel scattered among the heathen or the nations that we are indeed in error. So we'll start with Isaiah chapter 2. Once again, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness. Thy law is the truth. Let's walk the straight way. Verse 1 of chapter 2, Isaiah. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem, southern kingdom. And it came to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yah's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. So Yah's house, that third temple, shall be established at Mount Moriah, and all nations shall flow to it. So we know that third temple is no longer there. It's not there, has not been built, and all nations are not flocking to Jerusalem right now. Okay, and there's no peace in the land right now. Verse 3. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yah, to the house of the strong one of Jacob, or the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his path, not paths, his path, singular. There's only one straight way. And we'll walk in his path, for out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yah from Jerusalem. Let me reread that before we continue. Verse 3 of Isaiah chapter 2. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yah, to the house of the strong one of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his path, singular. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yah from Jerusalem. Now, lower my phone. Now, here is what's being made plain by the prophet Isaiah. You and all these nations right now, walking after these many idols and are worshiping in these many houses of idol worship. All of these nations will have to go up to Jerusalem and ask the strong one of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or the strong one of Israel. They're going to go have to ask him to teach them of his ways. So what should be made plain to you right now is that what's being done in these many nations throughout the earth is simply incorrect. And that includes Christianity and whatever else. Like I have said before, these are idols. So therefore, for all of these nations that will be left and allowed to live, they have to go up to the strong one of Israel and ask to be taught his ways, to be taught his law. So therefore, they are not walking in it, and they don't have it right now, and never did. Keep these things in mind. Now, verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So we know good and well there's still war in the earth. We know there's still nuclear bombs, weaponry of all sorts sitting in Jerusalem and everywhere else, held by these Israelis. And there's war and war instruments of war throughout the earth. These things will not exist when that third temple is there. And these nations that refuse to adhere to the Most High's law, he's going to kill them. It's really that simple. So all these idolatrous churches and these idolatrous nations in which the nation of Israel or the children of Israel has been scattered, and we have been walking after the vanities of these nations, these very nations are going to have to go up to Jerusalem, to the strong one of Isaac, Abraham, and Jacob. Okay? We're going to have to go up to the children of Israel, to their God, and ask to be taught of his law. So what these nations are doing currently is incorrect. Okay? And if you do any bit of reading, you will know this. And most of this walking contrary is because we have taken hold of the many idols of these nations. Now, let's jump quickly to Isaiah. Jump to Isaiah chapter 60. That way we can see exactly what's going to be taking place in these latter days. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1. Arise, shine, for the light is come, and the glory of Yah is risen upon thee. This is the Most High speaking to the house of Israel. We're being raised up in all of these many nations right now. So you're going to see tension throughout the earth. Verse 2, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But Yah shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. So, what's being said here in verse 2? Darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. Okay, because when the Most High does return, it's going to be dark at noon. Okay, it's not going to be bright light or anything. It's going to be dark. Gross darkness has covered the people. How? They are operating without the Most High's law. Commandment is a lamp. The law is light. So if you're operating in darkness, you're not operating with either one of those two. No commandment, no law, no light. Okay? Hence the darkness. Verse 3. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. As we begin to teach this word, it's going to be apparent to the nations that we are indeed the house of Israel, and we are indeed the people of the Most High. So as they begin to see this and understand this, they will gravitate towards those who are of the house of Israel, who are walking within the confines of the Most High's law. It's really that simple. Verse 4, lift up thine eyes round about and see. All they gather themselves to thee, or gather themselves together. They come to thee. Thy son shall come from afar, and thy daughter shall be nursed at thy side. Then shalt thou see, and flow together, and thine heart shall fear, and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. So all of these nations who hate us now, will kill us now, and are calling us all manners of foul names and doing foul things unto us, as we return unto this law, and the Most High starts shaking the heavens and earth, and these nations become well aware that these are indeed the people of the Most High, they will have a total change of heart. They will have to, because if they do not, they will be killed. Okay, and it's really simple as that. All right, now let's jump down to verse 9, because you can read the whole chapter. Verse 9 reads, surely the eyes shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first. to bring thy sons from afar, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yah thy strong one, and to the Holy One, not Holy Two or Three, the Holy One of Israel, because he has glorified thee. So we will be strengthened in these nations, because there's going to be some chaos. And we are going to be gathered out of these nations to go back onto that land. Verse 10, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. Their kings ministering unto us is their kings will be in service to us. For in my wrath I smote thee. That's why we were scattered throughout the earth in all the many nations. We have been slaves. We wear the names of the slave masters to this day. There is disarray in our houses, in our families. Our leaders has been stripped, and our prophets were stripped because we would not obey the words of the Most High. Hence we were kicked out of his land. Let's reread verse 10. And we are in Isaiah chapter 60. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee, shall be in service to us. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy upon thee. Verse 11. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. Verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Now, all of the house of Israel, once we were scattered into the many nations, our punishment was that we would have to serve these nations. That was the punishment. And any of us who refused to serve these European nations, the Dutch, the French, the Germans, the Spaniards, the English, and the rest of them, okay, any of us that refused to serve them, we got killed, because this thing was of the Most High. All right, so now, here you have a reversal of roles, and you can read that role reversal in Isaiah chapter 14. The reversal of roles would be, we had to serve these nations. That was our punishment. And any of us that chose not to serve these nations, we were killed. So now, any of them that refuse to serve us, they too will be killed. So we're looking at a role reversal. Let me reread verse 12 again. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. He's going to kill them. Verse 13. The glory of Lebanon shall not come unto thee. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee. The fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of my feet glorious. I will make the place of my feet glorious. That is Jerusalem. That is that third temple that we have to build. Okay? And this is what is being spoken of here. Because for us to be back in this land and this temple up, that means we have been restored back to the head of all the nations, and we are the priest of the earth. Okay, so that's what this is speaking of. And that's why that third temple cannot be built by those Israelis. Now, verse 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of Yah, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. So, all these individuals from the many nations who have afflicted us, we know who they are. Their sons and their daughters are going to have a change of heart. So what we're going through right now, as far as our hardship, it is temporary. And we must understand that as a people. But in order for us to be taken out of it, we must return back onto these laws. And in so doing, there will be a role reversal. We don't have to go to war with them with guns and bullets and knives. Okay? The Most High will fight on our behalf. This stuff is written out within our prophets. Okay? Our prophets spoke of this. So once again, let's reread verse 14 for clarity. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. They're going to come in servitude. They're going to come with a remorseful spirit for what they have done. And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. All right. And they shall call thee the city of Yah, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Okay. We're going to be known as the seed that Yah had blessed. It will be at that time acknowledged that we are the people of this book and we are the people of the Most High. Verse 15. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, look around you. Look at your TV screen. Okay? Look where you work. Look where you live. And look what has taken place with the children of Israel that are in the many nations where we have been scattered. We are clearly hated. Verse 15. Let's read that. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellence, a joy of many generations. Verse 16. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings. And thou shalt know that I am Yah, thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. So, clearly, this is not JC speaking here. This is the Most High himself speaking. So we will understand clearly that Yah is our Savior, he is our Redeemer, and he is the mighty one, not the mighty two or three. There's no Trinity here. That he is the mighty one of Jacob. Verse 17. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. I will also make thy officers peace, and thine extractors righteousness. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land. So we know good and well those Israelis are not these people, because no one is bowing down at their feet. No third temple is built, and that land is full of violence. Okay, so this is not speaking about them. Wasting nor destruction within thy borders, but thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy gates praise. Verse 19. The sun shall be no more thy light by day. So there's going to be a changing on the earth. Neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee, but Yah shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy strong one thy glory. So, moon, sun is not what's going to give the light. The light's going to be the Most High. He will be a fire round about the children of Israel in that land. There goes your dying, going to heaven, hanging out with JC. Barred up in Canada. It's a lie. Verse 20. Thy sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself. For Yah shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. So we have suffered for centuries, thousands of years. Those 2 days and change that we've been suffering in the midst of these nations, this will come to an end. Okay? Verse 21. The people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. That is the house of Israel. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, Yah, will hasten it in his time. All right. So you can also go into reading. Let me go ahead and touch on a few verses from Isaiah 61. All right. Isaiah chapter 61. Let's jump straight to verse 5 of Isaiah chapter 61. And strangers shall stand and feed your flock, and the sons of the aliens shall be your plowmen and your wine dressers. In other words, all of these strangers or these people of the other nations will be in service to the house of Israel in the land of Israel. You're looking at a role reversal. You can reference this in Isaiah chapter 14. Now, let's get back to Isaiah chapter 61. We will go with verse 6. But ye shall be named the priest of Yah. Men shall call you the ministers of Yah. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. So, eat the riches of the Gentiles. In other words, all that they have belongs to us. We're going to take it. Just like everything we have, they have taken when we were in transgression. Verse 7. This is speaking to the house of Israel. For your shame ye shall have double. Now remember, our sins, our punishment was double. That is what happened to Jerusalem. Okay, the Most High doubled up on our punishments. Okay, so he's going to give that back. Since I give you double punishment, I'm going to give you double reward. Okay, this is what happened to Jerusalem or to the southern kingdom. Let's read that again. Verse 7 of Isaiah chapter 61. For your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore, in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. Verse 8. For I, Yah, love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offering. And I will direct their work in truth. I will make an everlasting covenant with them. Okay. Verse 9. And their seed, bloodline, house of Israel, shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which Yah hath blessed. So, anyone telling you we're all Israel, and they are spiritual Israel and all that other foolishness, that is not so. Okay, seed is sperm, offspring, posterity, direct bloodline. Verse 10. I will greatly rejoice in Yah. My soul shall be joyful in my strong one. For he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation. He has covered me with the robe of righteousness. As a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with jewels. Okay? So, let me see here. Okay, we'll cover it. We'll go ahead and stop there. So, 23 minutes to kind of read over some of these things. You read, like I said, Isaiah chapter 14. It speaks clearly to this role reversal that's taking place. Look within the earth. It's beginning to be clear that we're the house of Israel. Many of our people continue to hold on to this idol, okay, this Christian idol, and continue to go to these houses of idol worship. It is very difficult to let go of a lie when you have been told that lie first. So therefore, even though our people know it's a lie, some of them do, some of them don't, it is still very difficult for them to let go of this idol because the stumbling blocks are in their hearts. So you will see an increase of violence and unrest, not just here in the United States, but you will see it worldwide. The Most High is moving for his people because what we are doing what we were instructed to do. When we're scattered in the midst of these nations and the judgments are placed upon us, the hardships, etc., we were to turn and face Jerusalem, lift our hands in prayer, and make our supplication in the many nations in which we have been scattered. Once we do this, the Most High said clearly he would hear our prayer. And we were to return unto the laws that we were given at the first. And as we return unto those laws, then the Most High said clearly in Deuteronomy chapter 30, that if us and our children return to those laws, that he would then gather us out of the many nations in which he has scattered us and placed us back into that land that he promised unto our forefathers, and bless us double. He will bless us more than he blessed our forefathers once we have done this. Now, keep in mind, whether you believe in this idol, and some do, and whether you walk after the laws of the Most High, the Most High has to prove to all of us that his word is true. So whether you believe in this law or not, whether you believe in the Most High or you walking after some idol called JC, the Most High has to make Israel a witness, and a witness sees. Okay, so we have to see this. He said, new things does he declare, but before they sprang forth, I will tell you of them. Meaning, before anything ever happens, I'm going to let my prophet let you know it's about to happen. So that is one of his protocols. The Most High will do nothing unless he first reveals it to his prophets. His prophet reveals it to the people. That way you can't say JC did it. Okay, so the Most High is up front. He gives us the end in the beginning, so there's no guesswork for us. All right, so as we start seeing this shift, he said clearly that as we return to his laws, all the curses that was upon us while we were in the midst of these nations, it will be placed upon our enemies. So you saw that we had infant mortality rate is high, drug abuse, problems within the home, between the man and his wife, between the man and his son, between the man and his daughter, between the man and his brother, between the mother and her children, both male and female, between the mother and her sister. There was just total disarray in the house of Israel. Lack of trust, lack of leadership, lack of law, lack of light. Okay? We didn't and still don't think twice to kill another Israelite. Okay, that is the evil that the Most High said that he would send in the midst of the house of Israel. So what we have to bear witness to now, he did say as we return onto these laws, that he will take all these curses that he had put upon us, and he will put it upon those that hate us. He will put it upon our enemies. So watch closely for all the strife and affliction that we have endured. Watch it be placed upon those who have inflicted damage to us. And that's going to be a problem, because they won't know exactly why it's happening, number one, and there'll be nothing they can do to stop it. So that is proof that the Most High is exactly who he says he is. As those who afflict us begin to fall victim to crime, victim to drug abuse, victim to violence in the midst of themselves, okay, you will see all of these things happening in the midst of them, and we will have absolutely nothing to do with it. Okay, the Most High is going to do this by himself, and they will have no idea why it's happening, but we will tell them why it's happening, and they can go in this book and look. And so therefore we will bear witness that the Most High is exactly who he says he is, because he left us this book of remembrance. And this book is how we access what our prophets have told us. Okay, that's why his testament has to stand. It has to be a common denominator. It cannot change, because we're dying every generation. But yet generation after generation, we have to look and see the same instruction. The instruction can't change. And that's why the Most High does not change. He is truth. He is righteousness. So as you see the calamity takes place in the earth, don't rejoice for it. Just continue to be strong in the Most High and his word, and encourage others to do it. Meanwhile, we are to stay strong and be of good courage and continue to praise the Most High and do the things that are right in his sight. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Peace, Israel.